Hello, you are welcome to part 2 of our discussions on traditional African marriage. In this session, we are going to look at aspects of traditional African marriage. We've gone through the preparation for marriage, the process of marriage, and the climax of marriage process in Africa. And this session, or the part 2, we are looking at aspects of traditional African marriage. And the aspects we'll be looking at issues like conjugal rights of the husband, then marriage prohibitions, endogamy, which is a marriage prohibition, mother-in-law avoidance, which is also an issue concerned with the prohibitions in marriage. And then finally, we look at the values associated with marriage. For example, why do we marry? Why is marriage such a big deal in Africa? And then the effects of westernization. What has Western lifestyle done to marriage in Africa? Conjugal rights. Conjugal rights, the term conjugal is a sociological term, and it refers to more or less what a man could demand from his wife because of the fact that he has paid the bride price or the bride wealth to marry her. If a man marries a woman, the man has the right to all the children she bears as long as the marriage lasts. This is to say that the man cannot be denied access to his own children. Some parts of the world, a man could lose access to his own children and be barred from ever even seeing them. This is not something that is allowed here in Africa, particularly the traditional society. And then also, a man has right to the creative functions of the woman. Creative functions are basically the woman's body in terms of organs for bearing children. By the mere fact that the man has offered bride wealth or the bride payment, he has a legitimate right to have access to the woman's body. So here we are talking of sexual access. Sexual access. Then also the man has right to her services. It's expected that the woman will offer some services for the husband. These are usually domestic services, the chores, cooking for him, washing his clothing, and more or less taking care of the children. These are basically issues concerning housekeeping. And then also, if someone should commit adultery with the woman or somebody should injure her, the man has to be compensated, and we say that he claims indemnity to his rights. He has to be compensated for whatever loss that he suffers as a result of the adultery or the injury that has been caused. Marriage prohibitions. Marriage prohibitions are about the do's and don'ts. And there are things that are not allowed in marriage here in Africa. Endogamy. Endogamy basically is about marriage within the clan. You see, within the same clan or lineage, marriage is not permitted. So people who belong to the same clan, the Akans have clans, and we have the Oyoko clan, Aduana clan, Asuna clan, and it's not allowed that people who belong to the same clan or big family marry themselves. This is because it's believed that there is one blood running through all of them, that they have a common descendant, and that makes them brothers or sisters, and therefore they are not allowed to marry themselves. Instead of endogamy, clan exogamy is allowed. That is marriage outside the clan. So if you are a man and you are looking for a woman to marry in the Akan area, then you have to look for somebody who is not a member of your clan. So Oyoko may marry Aduana and that kind of thing. The actual sociological reason why marriage within the lineage or clan is not allowed is that it would destroy the structure of the clan. A situation where you find that your clansman or clanswoman, the person who is your relative, also becomes your in-law. This is something which is absurd and could bring trouble within the clan or the lineage. And to break this rule of lineage or clan exogamy is to commit incest. That is, if two people who have the same clan should marry, it is believed that they are committing incest. And it's regarded as a very serious offense. In the olden days, such people were not even allowed to live. They were physically eliminated. Cross-cousin marriage. Related to the exogamy, the law of exogamy, we have the practice of cousin marriage. So people will ask, why then do they allow cousins to marry? Well, the Akans practice two types of cousin marriage. There is matrilineal cross-cousin marriage. And in this, one is allowed to marry one's mother's brother's daughter. Here is the maternal uncle's daughter. Our people would say in Twi, Owofa, Baba. Owofa, Baba. This kind of marriage in the olden days and even today is arranged for particular purposes. Then we have the patrilineal cross-cousin marriage. Patrilineal cross-cousin marriage involves marriage to one father's sister's daughter. One father's sister's daughter. Here, the woman or the lady is the daughter of your father's sister, Sewa. You know, Sewa in Akan. You are allowed to marry your Sewa's daughter. Technically, these cousin marriages don't break the rule of exogamy. It doesn't. You see, in the case of the matrilineal cross-cousin marriage, where you marry your uncle's, maternal uncle's daughter, that is mother's brother's daughter, it's believed that that lady does not share, the daughter does not share the blood of the father's family. Because it's a matrilineal system, she belongs to her mother's family. And of necessity, the mother's family will be a different clan altogether. And so there is no violation of the exogamy, the rule of exogamy. Then, when it comes to the patrilineal cross-cousin marriage, you are allowed to marry your father's sister's daughter. The reason is that your father is not part of the matrilineal group to which you belong, like Adriana or Yoko. Your father does not belong to that. And so your father's sister is not in any way in your family. And her daughter also will not have any blood relationship with you, because she has inherited her mother's blood relation group, the clan. So between the two of you, you and your father's sister's daughter, there is no blood relationship in terms of the Akan system. There is no blood relationship, so you are allowed to marry her. In fact, of the two systems, the matrilineal cross-cousin marriage and the patrilineal cross-cousin marriage, it is the matrilineal, the matrilateral which is allowed. I was using the term matrilineal instead of matrilateral. So among the Akan, the matrilateral is the commonest. And this is because of inheritance. Akans inherit along the matrilineal line. And a maternal uncle will arrange for the nephew to marry his daughter, because it's believed that the nephew will inherit the uncle. And so the uncle who desires that his daughter should benefit of his wealth will allow or will arrange for his nephew who is going to inherit him to marry his daughter, so that his daughter too will benefit. Mother-in-law avoidance. Mother-in-law avoidance is a sociological rule. Traditional ethics demands that husbands keep a reasonable distance away from the mother-in-law. That is, the husband, that is, the man, should in a way feel shy in the presence of the mother-in-law. This kind of thing is basically a social issue. You know, custom limits the contact that a mother-in-law should have with the son-in-law. In fact, the man is expected to feel shy in the presence of the mother-in-law, and so even when it comes to eating, you know, the son-in-law should not eat in the presence of the mother-in-law. If the mother-in-law visits, it's expected that the son-in-law will be served his meal in another part of the house, you know, or the mother-in-law will deliberately keep a distance, leave the scene if the son-in-law is going to eat. This is to ensure that the son will be free and will not be prevented by shyness from enjoying his meal. This strange feeling is not inborn. It's not something one is born with, or it's something that society has arranged. So it's a social norm. And the question is why? Well, it is to more or less preserve the respect that the mother-in-law should have for the son-in-law, so that familiarity will not set in and in a way bring about contempt that a mother-in-law may express for a son-in-law. It's a way of ensuring that the friendship between the two of them will be formal and not so casual. The rationale is here to avoid conflict between the two. Yes, to ensure that their relationship in any way does not bring about conflict. And then also to avoid incest between them. Incest is a very serious offense in the African society, and so for the son-in-law to cross the boundary and have any sexual affair with their mother-in-law is a serious offense. And so the distance that we are talking about is to be created and help them avoid any idea of having a sexual affair. Yes. So the whole thing is a method of maintaining friendship between the families that are united in marriage. Is to keep the relationship between the families of the couple who are married in good, more or less, state of friendship. Marriage values. The question is, why do people marry in Africa? Why is marriage such a big deal here in Africa? In the first place, we need to reiterate the point that African marriage is basically a family affair. It's basically a family affair. So it enables families to relate easily. And then also, marriage helps to regulate morality. In fact, St. Paul mentioned it in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 2, that if anyone is burning with passion, that is sexual desire, then the person should get married. That is, if you are unable to control your sexual feelings, then getting married will be regarded as the right thing to do. In fact, the young people who roam around with girls and start having affairs with them, it's not as acceptable. So a young person who is of age, eligible bachelor, would be told by relatives that he or she should get married. People say, more or less. They think that marriage will help stabilize your sexual impulses and bring some kind of control in your desires. Then, procreation. Yes. In fact, one of the key issues concerning marriage in Africa is procreation. It's more or less the principal factor for marriage in Africa. Having children. Children could be born outside marriage, but there is no value in that. children who are born within wedlock are regarded as legitimate and they are celebrated. See, and such kind of procreation also promotes family life. It's expected that children will be born within the family so that there can be a stable family life. And then also, it ensures the continuance of the lineage. Where there are no children, then the future of the lineage is endangered. That is, when the old people die off, there will be no children to actually succeed them. Then marriage also fosters maturity and a sense of responsibility among adults. In Africa, it is believed that marriage helps people to mature and makes them also responsible. In fact, people who are not married are seen as irresponsible. That is, adults. If you are an adult and you haven't got any plans for marriage and you seem not to be interested in marriage, people look down on you because they don't think that you are responsible. So single life or singleness is not a value in Africa. It's rather even abhorred. We continue on marriage values. Marriage promotes what one may call respectable social status. That is prestige, social prestige. If you are married, people respect you and they give you all that, the dignity that you deserve. Because they see you as somebody who is, in a way, in a stable, more or less, relationship. They see you as belonging to somebody. Obiyere hanase obikunu, as they say in Akan. And so you are not treated anyhow. You are given due respect. Because it's believed that you are a responsible person. Also, marriage helps to maintain social cohesion. The unity and stability within the society is social cohesion. And because in Africa, marriage is practically a union of families, or essentially a union of families, marriage helps to maintain good relationships among families. Hardly would a family that is in union with another in terms of marriage take up issues with the other family. They see them as in-laws and they wouldn't want to hurt them or in a way disgrace them. See, so marriage is very important for maintaining social cohesion. Then also, marriage is a context for socialization. In fact, it's the best context. And I need to explain that socialization here is not just making friends with other people. In sociology, socialization basically is the upbringing, the training of young ones. So marriage as a context for socialization means that the upbringing and the training of children is best done in the context of marriage. It takes two to tango. Taking care of children as a single parent is not very effective. And it may not be easy, even if it is effective. It's difficult. But it's believed that with the father and mother united in marriage, a child will grow up to be a well-socialized person who can live to the ideals of the society. From this point, we want to look at the effects of westernization. Talking of marriage and the ideals that are enshrouded in it, it's unfortunate that some of these values associated with marriage are disappearing in the modern world, all because of the effect of westernization. Right now, what we hear of is increasing rate of infidelity or unfaithfulness among couples. People are finding it easy to commit adultery, and they are being influenced by what they see on television and what they read and also what they hear. Infidelity is very common among the young ones, the young adults who get married. You know, sometimes some even think it's a kind of adventure, having a change of sexual experience. People who attend clubs and other places of entertainment, usually they end up having sexual affairs, you know, not caring that they are married. In the olden days, those who couldn't cope with just one person often took a second wife. At least that one, it was official. But these days, people are just taking on official extramarital partners. It's not helping marriages to continue. And this leads to the second point, and that is divorce. Infidelity is also causing divorce among couples. Now there's a high rate of divorce. It doesn't matter if the marriage has been more or less conducted or celebrated in the church. The fear of God seems to have disappeared. And marriage now is like an experiment. People go in and the commitment is not for life. It's like if things work, we stay. If it doesn't, then we go our separate ways. And even among middle-aged people, divorce is becoming rampant. The pressures of modern life and attendant problems are causing even adults, people who have married 20, 25, or even 30 years, to divorce. So it's not only the young ones that are divorcing. We see middle-aged people also divorcing. And now, what is happening to our society? We have the introduction and the promotion of same-sex relationships and marriages. We call it homosexual or lesbian affairs. In Ghana, this is illegal, but it's happening. It's going on underground. And even some people are trying to boldly come out and seek for their rights to be able to practice this kind of same-sex affairs. And in fact, these affairs are happening, and it's possible that underground marriages are even being conducted among people of the same sex. Because of the law, they are not able to come out, but it's known that it's happening. And it's also affecting marriages, because a man may marry to fulfill social expectations, have children, but he may also keep a homosexual partner. And if that happens, he may deny his wife her sexual rights. The same thing can also come from the woman. A woman who is involved in a lesbian relationship may also deny the man his sexual rights. And this will cause a marriage to break down. Then also, what we see perhaps is a positive thing, but one of the effects of westernization is that it has made polygamy unattractive. It's not easy for people who are in the modern world to have multiple wives. It's expensive, and it is not convenient. Of course, some people, because they are rich, are able to afford this. But those who are in Christianity will find it very uncomfortable, because the church, many churches don't permit polygamy. I mean, that at least officially. On this note, I want to say thank you for being with us through this discussion. We hope that you have been able to at least gain some ideas which will guide you in your marriage or future marriage. Stay blessed.